Madrid are making moves. Is Xavi Simons on his way to Arsenal, and is a Partey exit on the cards? Welcome to my transfer show. Now, before I get into all of this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe before I get into this information, because I know that is exactly why you're here. Who's leaving, who's going, who's staying, who's coming in, whatever it is. And the first thing we're going to get into is that the fact that Real Madrid are making moves, and it starts with this story that broke last night on Dean Hoyson. And it says here, AFC Bournemouth now have an agreement in principle with Real Madrid, repayment terms on the 50 million clause. Hoyson is finalising a contract. Talks moved quickly today after Real Madrid made first club-to-club approach. And then early this morning, this news broke from David Ornstein. Real Madrid activate the 50 million release clause in Dean Hoyson's contract, working to finalise the signing of the Bournemouth centre-back. Talks over personal terms advance and reps in Madrid to close transfer. Now, I brought the news to you yesterday that Arsenal were heavily in the race for Dean Hoyson, along with Liverpool and Chelsea, and I think Man United may have been in the race as well, but it seems that Real Madrid have got their man. And the reason why we're talking about Dean Hoyson, I'm going to bring up Celiba as well, because we know that Real Madrid are looking for new centre-backs, and Celiba was at the top of their wish list. But the fact that Arsenal are being strong to hold off Real Madrid and making sure that they don't sign him, this is why. Because they are about to make William Celiba, along with Bukayo Saka Starboy, one of the highest or both the highest earners at the club, with a 300 grand a week contract. This comes from the Give Me Sport, Deans Jones. Thank you for AFC Stuff for posting this. Now, this is good. This is good news. This is good news so far. Nothing has been signed yet. Celiba hasn't signed a new contract yet, nor have Real Madrid signed Dean Hoyson. But it seems like Dean Hoyson is making his move to Real Madrid. It would have been nice to have a talented centre-back coming in Arsenal ranks, but we lost heaven to Man United, and that seemed like, how was he going to get any game time to step past Celiba and Gabriel? And I feel like any centre-back coming in is going to have to understand that they won't be starting. And I feel like a player with Dean Hoyson's prospect wants to be starting games. Is he going to be starting at Real Madrid? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But that's not my problem, because as far as I know, Dean Hoyson is making his move to Real Madrid. Celiba is staying, and we can be happy. The next person I'm going to talk about is Victor Yokarez, because I brought news to you yesterday that there is an agreement in place between Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon for Victor Yokarez. And this came up as well today, that Sporting Lisbon have an agreement in place with Victor Yokarez to let him leave for between 70 to 75 million euros this summer, and hope a bidding war could push that amount higher. However, that is unlikely, with the player already grabbed emotionally and even financially by Arsenal. These talks have been between Yokarez and Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon have probably been going on for months now. And do you remember before we signed Declan Rice, or even when we signed Declan Rice, time ago in January, in that season, it was already said Declan Rice is our target. And even once West Ham won the Europa Conference League, and you think the transfer was going to accelerate after that, there was like a lull period where there was just silence and this, that, and the other. Then boom, we signed Declan Rice. I feel like this is going to be a similar thing with Victor Yokarez, where we won't hear nothing after this that came out today. I don't think we'll hear nothing else until the end of the season now, once everything's signed, sealed, and delivered. Because I feel like the player has made up their mind. Arsenal want their man. Berger has come in, and he's a big admirer of Victor Yokarez. So I see this deal as all but done, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. And we know what Arsenal are like. We absolutely know what Arsenal are like. But it seems like, as I said, Victor Yokarez to Arsenal is all but sealed, and we're just waiting on that crucial piece of confirmation. That's what we're waiting for. Now, next up, another story broke yesterday about Xavi Simons of RB Leipzig. And it says here, Xavi Simons' decision has been made. He's ready to leave RB Leipzig this summer. Plan confirmed as reported in the recent months. He's ready for a new chapter with top Premier League clubs and Bayern all attentive to his situation. RB Leipzig are aware of the players' plans. And the reason why I brought this up, because a few months ago, it was reported by Fabrizio Romano on the transfer sector that Arsenal are among the clubs that are well informed on the situation of Xavi Simons. He could leave RB Leipzig this summer for a fee of around 60 million. That was in April. And then remember, this quote was said yesterday about Xavi Simons and him leaving RB Leipzig this summer. Is a fantastic attacking midfielder, and I feel like he could either start or him and Odegaard can battle it out for that 10 spot for that attacking midfield spot. He does sometimes play on the left as well. He has a right foot, so I don't see why you can't play on the right as well. Potentially, if you're a winger, if Marina can play up front from midfield, I feel like you are enough players now going forward are talented to do most things. I'm not going to get completely into that, but this is an attacking midfielder that would be brilliant for Arsenal. Absolutely brilliant for Arsenal. And I think if we can get him in, that would be absolutely brilliant. So, Gunners, let me know what you think about Xavi Simons and his potential transfer to Arsenal. Another story that broke late yesterday evening revolves around Pedro of Brighton, their striker, their number 9. Now, Pedro is a good player, is a decent player. I don't know if he takes us up a level, but if we're going to sign someone like a Yokarez or an Isak, whoever that top striker is going to be, and you bring in a Pedro potentially as a second number 2, I wouldn't be too mad about it because he is a skillful player. But it says here, Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea are all showing interest in Pedro ahead of a possible summer transfer. Arsenal are understood to be long-term admirers, and Telegraph Sport understands they have explored the possibility of signing him in previous seasons. Could this be the signing? Could this be the season or the window that Pedro does come through the doors of Arsenal? Like I said, I need top gunmen coming in first before we're looking at second strikers, because like I said, in my opinion, Pedro is a second striker. I don't think he even starts up front for Brighton all the time. Has he been injured a couple of times this season? He might have been, so I'm going to give him a bly on that. But like I said, Yokarez or whoever needs to come in first before Pedro comes in. Because even then, if I want a second striker or someone else that could deputize or that could come on when Yokarez is not there, I still like Ollie Watkins. I do like Ollie Watkins, in my opinion. Isak is my number 1, but that's a dream. But anyway, that's all bad about it. It's all bad about it at the end of the day. Now, Arsenal fans, have you heard of this player, this right-sided defender that plays for Club Brugge? Because I've never, ever heard of this player. And his name is Joel Ordin. I could have butchered that. I could have absolutely butchered that. But let's get into it, what it says here. Arsenal have reached verbal agreement with Club Brugge defender Joe Ordinez, a right-sided defender who would be the backup for William Celiba. No agreement with the club yet, and PSG are also interested in this. Came again from a PSG page reported by the African Guna. Arsenal have reached verbal agreement with Joel Ordinez. A verbal agreement does not mean a deal is complete. They will still need a fee. PSG have also entered the race and still could convince the player. And now, this transfer may depend on whether PSG do win the Champions League or not. Arsenal do have Paul, we know that. We know Arsenal have Paul, that's not a problem at all. But depending on where you finish, PSG are already champions of their league. They look like they're going to be, if they win the Champions League, beaten Inter Milan, and they've already wrapped up their league and everything else, a player like that may choose a project. May choose that as a project. He's young, he's up and coming. He's 21, I believe. Yeah, he's only 21. So he's still kind of young. He's still absolutely kind of young. I don't know much about this player, so I can't offer much about him. So I'm going to do some research about him, as I feel like he's going to be popping up again. Now, 2 more players that I've never heard of, but we have been linked to, and I feel like these are for the future. And that is, I need to get their names up because Lord have mercy. I don't even want to get this wrong for you people. I don't even want to get it wrong. I'm going to pull it up right now. Arsenal have added Juan Jimenez and Victor Valdepenas, Lord have mercy, to their shortlist. Both players are being monitored. They are seen as potential transfer targets for the future. Jimenez is also on the radar of Borussia Dortmund and other top clubs as well. And I had to go and have a look-see on the internet, and I found this article on both the players. Arsenal are monitoring Rosario central back Juan Jimenez and Real Madrid Castilla defender Victor Valdepenas. after adding them to their transfer shortlist, according to Sky Sports and Sky Germany journalist Florian Plettenberg. The duo are linked with the Gunners for the first time, while it is unknown whether they'll be targeted for the summer transfer window. They have been identified as future transfer targets. Arsenal are not only keen on the 19-year-old Jimenez, as he is also on the radar of Borussia Dortmund and other top European clubs. The right-footed Argentina youth international has also caught the eye of Manchester United, with his confidence playing up from the back, with a trait which has impressed both them and a North London club. 6'2" Valdepenas is a left-footed defender who has played left back and on the wings for Real Madrid Castilla, and a move to the England Cup could appeal to the 18-year-old if promotion to the first team in Spain is not forthcoming. North London club believe he has a future to become a star. He has the potential to become a star in the future, and they will not hesitate to move for him if it becomes clear he would leave Real Madrid. These two youngsters, as I said, players for the future. Players for the future. The last two things I'm going to get on today is, let's talk about this guy. Because I don't know, he doesn't have a future at Arsenal, in my opinion. He doesn't. It could have been good, but it wasn't good. Let's talk about it. Sevilla have practically decided that Sambi Lokonga will not stay at Sevilla next season. The Belgium international will return to Arsenal, and I believe that we will be seeing the back of William Saliba, Sambi Lokonga. We'll be seeing the back of Sambi Lokonga this summer, because we've moved on from Sambi Lokonga. He may have had a decent season in Spain, but this is not going to happen. Now, I just think, yeah, we're just going to see the back of Lokonga. Now, as I was saying, Thomas Partey. Could Thomas Partey be on his way out of Arsenal? Because it says here in this piece that came out this morning, Arsenal are making backup plans for the midfield in case they fail to reach an agreement with Thomas Partey. There is optimism that a new agreement can be reached, but due to a desire to be prepared for every eventuality, the club are making sure that they have an awareness of potential deals that can be struck. Ideally, they would look to someone within the Premier League, given Zubimendi is going to join from abroad, and they do not want to have too many players who are currently settled in the country. And they do not want to have too many players who are not completely settled in the country by the start of the season. So Arsenal so apparently Arsenal are trying to prepare for every eventuality if Partey doesn't make the cut. And when I say doesn't make the cut, I mean if he doesn't sign a contract at the end of the day. As I said in my previous video, in the previous transfer show, that Thomas Partey has been great this season. A fit and available Partey is amazing Partey, and that's the only reason why I think he's being able to speak himself into a new contract. But if something can't be agreed, then you got to leave, and then someone else can come in. And then I agree with the point that they should look for someone in the Premier League. It's already there, already settled, already knows the league, and can hit the ground running straight away. I absolutely do agree with that. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is Benjamin Cesco, because we haven't really spoken about Cesco much. Because I said yesterday, the club want Isak, Arteta wants Cesco, Berta wants Yokarez. Well, today, this was released by Miguel Delaney, that Benjamin Cesco's release code has gone way up past the initial 58 million, potentially to 75 million, which will still fit in Arsenal's budget. The Slovenian fits the club's profile, but he is not seen as the finished product. Now, if anyhow Arsenal spends 75 million on a player that is not seen as the finished product, but we want to win the Premier League, it's not on Cesco, it's on Arsenal, and I might just be a little bit upset. Don't spend 75 million on someone you do not think is the finished product. Doesn't mean he can't become something in the future, but spending 75 million on him now, when we could be putting that towards a Yokarez and Isak, the next bad boy midfielder, let's not do that, Arsenal. I'm just going to say that here and now. Let's not do that. Let's not create problems where there are no problems. Okay? Well, there are problems. We need to get them sorted. That's why we're talking a lot. That's why we started this transfer show early. That's why we're starting it early, because there's a lot to sort out and it needs to be done early. So we're starting early. But Cesco, no. If you can get him as a backup, maybe 50 mil, then we could talk something. But 75 million, I'm sorry. No, thank you. No, thank you. So I think that's it for today. That's it for the transfer news today. Arsenal have been linked to 2 strikers, a couple of midfielders, a few defenders. I want to be linked to more strikers, and first we need to have a striker in first. That is paramount before anything else. So let me know what you think of everything that I've discussed in this video today, of all the players that have been discussed. Are you excited about the potential of Yokarez coming into Arsenal? Are you excited about the potential of Xavi Simons coming into Arsenal? How do you feel about Dean Huijsen going off to Real Madrid now? That is all but sealed. Did you want him at Arsenal? Have you ever heard of Joel Ordin? Let me know about everything in this video, and we will speak soon. Coming out later today, I will have a preview for the Newcastle game, so make sure you look out for that. And we go from there. And I'm not even going to talk about the Newcastle stuff and my thoughts and feelings on that. I'm going to leave that to the preview, to later. So until then, love and guidance, people. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we're going to get into this later on regarding the preview. Let me know what your thoughts and opinion about today's video. Love and guidance, people. One last thing, people. Just as I was about to upload this video, just a small news story broke about Nuno Tavares and Sambi Lokonga. And it says here, Arsenal will receive a 9 million fee from Lazio for the Nuno Tavares. As part of a loan with obligation to buy clause, Arsenal will also maintain a sell-on clause, while Albert Samuel Lokonga returns to Arsenal after a loan spell at Sevilla. So I already spoke about Samuel Lokonga earlier in this video, but Arsenal will receive a 9 million loan fee from Lazio, and as far as I'm concerned, that should go to the transfer fee of a big boy striker. Peace out.